What if I told you that the greatest man in modern history, Napoleon Bonaparte, was not truly loved by the one woman he cherished most? That behind every crown, every came victory, every empire he built, lay a heart quietly breaking in the shadows. Most people believe women desire power, confidence, and success. But history tells a darker truth. Not all women desire great men. In fact, many quietly resent them. This isn't just about Napoleon. He became distant. This is about a hidden truth that has haunted great men throughout the ages. He became distant, a truth no one dares to say out loud until now. You're about to discover why greatness, in the eyes of love, he became distant, can be a curse, and why some of the most powerful men in history died feeling utterly alone. In the golden age of empire, amidst fire and revolution, a man rose from Corsican obscurity to stride like a colossus across the kingdoms of Europe. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte. A man of unmatched will, a military genius, became distant, a lawgiver of nations, and yet, behind the triumphs and the coronation, stood an unsettling truth that few dare to confront. Not all greatness is adored. He became distant. Not all conquerors are loved, and not all women desire great men. This is not a judgment. It is a revelation, a truth as old as myth and as piercing as a sword drawn in the dark. In the ancient world, the hero was glorified. Achilles, Alexander, Caesar, men who burned bright and devoured fate. They were not only feared, but worshipped. Yet even in these myths, something whispers beneath the surface. Achilles weeps for Briseis, taken from him. Hercules, the slayer of monsters, is undone by a woman's poisoned gift. Even mighty Odysseus, home from war, finds suspicion in the eyes of Penelope. Power does not guarantee desire. Greatness is a lonely throne. In truth, the more a man transcends the ordinary, he became distant, the more he becomes a mirror, reflecting the inadequacies, the fears, the resentments of those around him. And no mirror is more feared than the man who achieves what others cannot. Napoleon stood above Europe like Jupiter among mortals. But his heart, he became distant. That heart remained tragically misunderstood. He loved Josephine with a poet's madness. He wrote letters with trembling urgency. He begged for affection. And yet, he was betrayed. She did not revere him as the world did. She delayed her letters. She entertained others. She saw not the emperor, but the boy. Anxious, yearning, unfulfilled. Why? Because greatness in a man often alienates the feminine instinct that seeks not domination, but communion. Many women, consciously or not, do not crave a god. They seek a man who is present, who is safe, who is contained within the familiar. And in this, the great man becomes a paradox. He is admired from afar, but feared up close. He inspires poetry, but rarely intimacy. He is wanted for what he symbolizes, but not always loved for what he is. Plato taught us of the soul's division: reason, spirit, and desire. The great man, like Napoleon, embodies reason and spirit to excess. He dominates through logos and will, but in doing so, he often suppresses the eros, the soft, receptive, nurturing element of the human spirit. Distant to a woman grounded in the earthly rhythm of life, this imbalance becomes a chasm. She does not see a man. She sees an idea, a storm, a force too wild to rest within her arms. Thus, the feminine withdraws, not out of cruelty, but of unconscious wisdom. Desire does not obey greatness. He became distant. It obeys resonance. It responds not to titles or triumphs, but to attunement, safety, and emotional congruence. This is the torment of the philosopher king. He governs men, but not hearts. The eagle flies high because it cannot crawl, but in doing so, it misses the warmth of the earth. Napoleon could reshape nations. He could maneuver armies as a sculptor shapes clay. But in the realm of love, he was but a boy, lost, disarmed, fragile. He craved affection not for power's sake. He became distant, but because in intimacy he sought refuge. His letters betray him, not as a tyrant, but as a child begging to be held. Every moment I am apart from you, I feel like dying. You are the only joy in my world of iron. These are not the words of a conqueror. They are the confession of a soul who, having mastered the world, cannot master the heart of one woman. And perhaps therein lies the deepest tragedy. He became distant The great man achieves what most cannot, except the one thing he truly desires. Carl Jung spoke of archetypes: the warrior, the king, the lover. Napoleon embodied all, but was met not with admiration, but often suspicion. Why? Because power distorts perception. To be near greatness is to feel small. He became distant. To be near will is to be reminded of one's passivity. And to love a man like Napoleon is to surrender to a storm that may never settle. Most people do not want to be changed, and great men are change incarnate. They are revolution. They are upheaval. They are prophecy made flesh. The feminine soul, which often longs for rhythm and safety, resists such disruption. So while the masses cheered Napoleon's name, his bed remained cold. He could conquer the Alps, but not Josephine. The ancients knew masculine energy is direction. It seeks, it drives, it builds. But desire, true feminine desire, requires pause, presence. He became receptivity. Great men, obsessed with movement, often forget to be. And in forgetting this, they estrange the very thing they seek to win. This is why most women do not desire great men. Not in the intimate, primal sense. They may admire them, respect them, even envy them. He became distant, but their hearts do not open to the one who is never still. For the feminine opens only to one who is grounded, not grand. Here lies the cruel twist of fate. He became distant. The woman may reject the great man not because he is too strong, but because he reveals her own insecurity. She feels unworthy of him. She fears being invisible in his shadow, and so she withholds love, not as punishment, but as protection. He became distant. What she does not realize is that the great man is more fragile than she thinks, that beneath his armor lies a wound deeper than hers. But they do not speak the same language. One speaks in symbols, the other in sensations, and so the wound remains, and the love dies. In every era, the truly great man walks alone. Socrates, misunderstood. Marcus Aurelius, stoic in his isolation. Leonardo, married to his art. And Napoleon, loved by the world, but unloved in his home. Because the heights of male achievement isolate him from the realm of common feeling. His brilliance burns too hot. His mind races too fast. And his woman, unless she is rare, cannot follow. Thus, the prophecy fulfills itself: the greater the man, the lonelier his path, the brighter his light, the longer his shadow. And in love he often remains a stranger. In the East, law whispered a wisdom deeper than conquest. To attain, one must release. To be desired, one must become empty. Napoleon grasped for control, in politics, in war, and in love. But the feminine cannot be seized. It must be invited. He became distant. Desire is not evoked through force, but through stillness. The truly great man must, paradoxically, become invisible to be seen. He must step down from the throne to be held. And yet few can, because to do so feels like death to the ego. This is the challenge of the saging: to hold greatness lightly, to lead without dominance, to love without possession. Napoleon's final exile was not on Elba, nor was it on St. Helena. He became distant. His true exile was from love, from the intimacy he could never master. In this, he stands as a monument to masculine tragedy, to the man who achieves everything except the one thing that truly matters: to be known, to be seen, to be accepted without grandeur. And this, most women cannot offer the great man, not because they are cruel, but because he has become too much myth and not enough man. So what then shall the great man do? Should he abandon his path, diminish his light? No. He must walk it with clarity, knowing that he may never be truly desired by the ordinary, that he is not made for comfort, but for fire, not for peace, but for transformation. And if he is to be loved, it must be by a rare soul, a woman not threatened by his light, but illuminated by it. Until then, he must remain sovereign, alone perhaps, but never broken. History remembers the great men. He became distant, but rarely do we understand their hearts. If you're walking the path of fire, of vision, of greatness, remember this truth: not all will love you. He be distant, not all are meant to. But the path is still yours to walk, with dignity, with purpose, and with the strength to endure even when love does not follow. He became subscribe for more philosophical truths and reflections that awaken the soul.